by taking on the role, you're taking on a year challenge. We build relationship, and how effective you are in that role is based on the relationships that you build in school. So at the start of the year, you'll find that all those things that you're told at BTA, of students running up to you and being excited by City Year, and responding to you at the clubs that you're setting up, those things aren't not true. But that's a year-long challenge to get to that point where, you know, you're effectively running a club and a student's listening to what you're saying, because our strength is in the relationships we build. So I think it's really important to recognize that that's not a lie. That's not something that won't happen, but it's something that you need to work out consistently to get to that point where students are responding to you and they are excited by City Year and they are upset that you're leaving next year. Our power, in a way, lies in our relationships, because our role doesn't have much authority in a kind of superficial way. We're not teachers, we're not old enough, we look young, we're in uniforms, so the real power comes from a shared level of respect, and that's something that takes quite a while to build with the students. So it's important not to be thrown off and attribute that to yourself and your power with the students, but rather, actually, that's a really wonderful thing. Those students aren't going to respect you because they have to, but they're going to respect you because they've seen that you're consistent, that you're reliable, that you're a role model, that you've chosen to dedicate a year of your life to being with them, but that students need you to kind of prove that to them in a way. And once you've got it, it's more powerful than any kind of fake authority that they have to respect you, because they do. It's because they really do see the benefit of having you there over a different type of role that's being fulfilled in the school.
Yeah. What have been some of the joys?
The best way to build relationships is to be in as many different semi-structured spaces with them. So things like breakfast club are pivotal to building relationships, even if you feel like it's a useless space. Homework club will seem really boring and useless to you at the start. Every single year, core members will say, what's the point of us being in there? And that's because when the relationships aren't there, the students aren't there, and they're not asking for help. But using those spaces at the time to say, to like speak to students, even if it's just like one word in, one joke in, one math sum help in, that's you building a foundation for later on in the year when they're doing their exams and they really come to you and ask you for help. So I think placing yourself in as many different situations as possible, homework club, breakfast club, break time, lunchtime, that's when you're going to be building the relationships in structured kind of spaces. The biggest joys, I think, are the stories in which you feel at the start of the year that you're working with a student on your focus list that you're just not connecting with, not getting through to, and you feel, actually, there's no point of me working with a student. We have nothing in common. They don't like me. They don't want to spend mentoring with me. So one example from my team is, I remember having a one-to-one at the start of the year, and she was just saying, I just don't have anything to talk to. Whenever he's in the sessions, he doesn't want to be there. Whenever I go up to him in class, he ignores me. And I just think that this student doesn't need my help. He shouldn't be on our focus list. And if you ask that person now, that's their example of their most powerful starfish story. Because that student, I remember her trying different things. So instead of going straight through academics, she was like, maybe I'll do career development and get them to think about what kind of career they want. And that was like a key to getting into their academics. So I think, in short, the most powerful ones are the ones that you feel you're getting nowhere with at the start. And just through building that human relationship, eventually you get to a place where you're making the most impact on that student. So there are challenges in the role. The what I would say about challenges is that they're fluid. So again, this is a year-long role. So the challenges you face at the start of the year will be totally different to the challenges you face at the middle of the year, and then again at the end of the year. So at the start, the challenge will be more about grasping your role in the classroom, in the playground, running clubs. So you will feel awkward at the start, approaching students, approaching staff, getting involved. But as James would say at BTA, a lot of it is about faking it till you make it. Yeah. And I think a lot of us really, including me, because this was a new school to me, a lot of it was about faking I knew exactly what we've been doing for the past 3 years here at William Ellis. And students just feed off that. Whereas in the middle of the year, the challenges will be, very environmental. So the weather will play a big impact on your motivation. You're going to be waking up 6 a.m., some earlier, some a bit later, to run breakfast club or morning greeting in the dark. And around that time as well, you're not the only ones who will be feeling demotivated. It's also the teachers. And that will rub off on you because you'll feel maybe you're feeling underappreciated. Maybe your relationship in the classroom isn't going as smoothly because you and your teacher don't have time to communicate, which is also natural in a school environment. But those are also, that time of year is also the most important in terms of building relationships. And in the long term, what you'll start feeling in spring and summer is all that hard work and difficult mornings built the foundations for reaping the benefits later on in the year. So, your student comes to you and says, I got 0 detentions this week, when they used to get around 17 and a half term. So I think, again, there are many challenges, but it's really important to see them in terms of this is a year-long journey, and the challenges on the way are set up in a way that I'm building this foundation for a lot of benefits and joys and progress with the students that I'm working with.